Now, there are growing calls from various quarters for the prosecution and dismissal of the Minister for Special Development Initiatives, Mavis Hawa Koomson. In an interview with our sister station Adom TV, the minister admitted to firing a warning shot at a registration center in a constituency, Ewutu-Senya East. EC officials at the Step to Christ Center fled the scene as the exercise turned violent, with motorbikes seized and set ablaze. Madam Koomson explains one of the cars in a convoy was surrounded by motor riders, causing her to fire a warning shot to disperse them. She also said that the men who accompanied her to the center were not armed. Eyewitnesses, however, contradict this testimony. There's more in the following news desk report.
As usual, we were doing our registration for the...
An eyewitness explains the cause of the violence that marred an otherwise peaceful registration exercise at Kaswa. JoyNews was there. The NDC candidate, Felix Koyo, accused the MP, Mavis Hawa Koomson, of being behind the violence.
I am saying it's on authority that she instructed that the people should be shot and their motorbikes being bent because she was there with folded hands.
The MP spoke on the matter on Adom TV. First, she claimed when she arrived at the center, one of the cars in her entourage was surrounded by men on bikes. This was when she fired a warning shot.
I didn't direct it on anybody. So I gave warning shots, so that was what happened.
She insists the men who accompanied her to the center did not carry arms.
Maybe anywhere will create to the Dimitri. I want to know weapon.
Eyewitnesses contradict this narrative. First, on the cause of the violence, one says the men in the company of the MP tried to sack the people riding the bikes. Their refusal is said to have triggered the confusion.
All of a sudden, there's a car with bodyguards inside. That is Hawa Koomson. So as they come, they were claiming anyone who is not part of the ID card should move away. And there was a royal bike here. So they decided to take the bike out of the way, and the guy said he should leave it, he will do it by himself. He just start beating the bikes, all the bikes around, put fire in it, beat the owners of the bike and just left. That's what happened.
He also says, contrary to the minister's claims, the men were armed with not only guns.
They were holding guns and stuff. Pinkers, guns, everything they were holding it. So even you cannot stand, you have to run. Everybody was running away. And there was a pepper spray and a lot of stuff.
Another eyewitness confirms this narrative regarding the motorbike.
So they just gathered it here and then they set fire on it and burn it for no reason. So the EC official realized what was going on and it was so serious. So they just have to leave the place because here isn't safe anymore.
A gentleman stationed at the center says the MP was present during the scuffle over the bikes and urged those around to be calm.
She was here. She's telling us not to run away. Nothing is going to happen. Whilst people are pulling rifle, shooting.
The account of the police even makes understanding the violence more confusing. The police officers confirm a gun was retrieved from the 4 suspects arrested for the violence. The officers also explain that these individuals were being held for the gunshots and the burning of the bikes.
So we have arrested 4 people in connection with what about happened at that registration center?
At least can you confirm that they had guns when they arrested them?
We have seized 1 gun.
First, a gun was fired. The MP claims it was her gun. The police made arrests and retrieved 1 gun. So, were there others who fired gunshots? This eyewitness, a trader, had 2 bullet marks on her gate. Her shop is at least 500 meters away from the registration center where the violence broke out.
So that was a news desk report putting everything into context. And there's been widespread condemnation from election observers and security analysts with calls for the minister to resign and be prosecuted. Well, joining me via Zoom is security expert Adam Bona and also National Youth Organizer of the NPP, Henry Nana Boakye. Many thanks for your time, gentlemen. Let me begin with Adam Bona. Mr. Bona, is she justified by her actions since she was claiming that her life was threatened?
Good afternoon to your viewers and good afternoon to the other panelists from the MPP. It is sad. I mean, probably your short documentary and probably your own investigations on the ground, further confirms some of the suspicions. And I am sad that this is happening, around this time. It shouldn't have happened. You clearly indicated in the video, I believe the whole world watched, bullet holes in a gate. When you are giving warning shots, you aim, in the sky. You don't aim, around the head level. And so this is clearly probably contradicts what the Minister of State indicated. And the police, from what your reporter's interaction with the police commander in that jurisdiction further contradicted what the Minister of State had put out. Because according to the Minister of State, her people were not wielding firearms.
Mr. Bona, when you started, you said it confirmed certain suspicions. What suspicions does it confirm?
The suspicion that a lot of things have not been put out there. The Minister of State is clearly trying to hide a lot of the things that took place. The Minister of State clearly didn't know, doesn't really understand her actions at the said venue. Because you played, I think, a voice from, your sister station, Adom FM.
Right.
And she said, maybe to scare them. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't actually understand that violates the firearms permission. If you have to do such a thing, you need a certain permission to do it. And so a lot of contradiction, and I am sad. This shouldn't be happening. And as a Minister of State, she should have known better. And as a Minister of State, I want to urge that when some of these people would have to be given appointments, they would have to be oriented, given proper tutelage, proper training with regards to the do's and don'ts. Because if you listen to her, what the police should have done should have, taken the full, custody of this tape from Adom FM. And if you listen to that tape, it is her voice, which confirms what she herself has done, because it is her voice. Immediately, they had that probably listened to, they should have arrested her, because then she had confirmed she had a firearm in public and she, shot.
To be fair, she claims that the firearm is licensed and she carries on with it. No. You see, a license, do you know how many Ghanaians are licensed firearms bearers in this country? If you are going as a Minister of State, she is entitled to state security. She's entitled 24/7 to state security. Right. The reason why she would have carried a firearm to such a public place was because she probably would have done her own assessment and thought that it would be too risky, and so let me carry my firearm. The moment that comes into your mind, she shouldn't have put her own life at risk. Let's assume that what she said is true. She should have called her security detail to join her. If she further felt that, under these circumstances, one police officer will not help. Okay, another argument she makes is that she didn't have any of her security detail around her, but we'll come to that. Let me bring in Nana Boakye now. First of all, we want to know if the party's position on the violence which occurred yesterday, is there any official position of the party on this particular incident?
Thank you. And good afternoon once again. The official position is the position of the police investigation. It appears a lot of people are reading a lot of meanings into what, trying to concoct their own reasons and rationalization for some of the activities that took place. And for me, I have spoken to the minister, and the minister indicated to me that, yes, indeed, he had gotten some information that some people were bused to a certain registration center. So she actually got up at dawn, and she has a gun with her. And in fact, for most or even all parliamentary, all MPs, they have been oriented with this security staff. And majority of them, almost all of them, they do have guns, licensed guns with them. So it is a gun she has, and yes, indeed, she's also indicated that it's a licensed gun. And at a point, she felt threatened. Her life was under attack, and some young men who were on motorbikes, they were on Max, and unfortunately, these days, we actually walk around with Max, and then they were on motorbikes, they were approaching her vehicle, and then before that too, they had sounded or they had given some signals already that they had wanted to harm her. So she herself, she had cause to report this matter to even her personal security details and all of that. So what the Honorable MP is saying that she was under attack, and then she gave a warning shot to disperse the crowd.
Do you think that her action was justifiable?
Yes. She must protect her life. I mean, and self-defense is firmly situated within our laws. I mean, it is quite clear once that she felt threatened and she felt that her life is at stake, and indeed she gave a warning shot. I mean, that is justifiable.
So does the party stand with her, or is the party going to distance itself from her actions?
No, we are waiting for the police investigation, because what action are you talking about here? The minister is saying that her life was under attack, and then she fired a warning shot to save her own life, to disperse the young people who were coming, who were charging towards her. So the party's position will be that of the police, the conclusion of the police investigation. So that is what we are waiting for.
Okay.
So I think that a lot of people are giving so many meanings into it. I mean, this is where people will try to make their own conclusions into what. I don't think we don't have to preempt what the.
But I'm sure you've heard the condemnation, the widespread condemnation by, a cross-section of Ghanaians, ordinary Ghanaians to experts, security experts, election observers. They're all saying that the minister's action was reprehensible. She should be apprehended. She should be dismissed.
I totally disagree with such. And in fact, the colleague on the other side, if your life is under threat, you would have to protect yourself. If indeed the police would have to carry out a detailed investigation and indeed conclude that, yes, her life was under attack, and then the young men coming towards her, charged towards her, had plans or intended plans of causing some harm to her. Yes, then indeed it's justifiable. So, I mean, all the people saying that, it appears that they've also lost focus on a certain fact. If indeed her life was under attack, you were expecting her, when she has a licensed gun, you were expecting her to fold her arms? No, I don't think so. So what she did at that particular moment, the police is under investigation, so we should wait. And people easily jump to conclusion, because we also need to also listen to her side of the story. We can fault the entire situation, because obviously I also don't agree with some of these violence associated with the registration. I mean, it's quite unfortunate, but I'll also charge the police and then other security agencies. Look, Kaswa has always been on one of the hot spots, and I think as an identified hotspot, the security there should be beefed up. And I mean, we know, just before this, we have heard several stories where some people, even our party people, said they have been under attack.
Right.
The other side too, they are also complaining.
Right.
So I think that the security
should be stepped up. Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
They should beef up security in there.
Very quickly, Mr. Bona.
Let me make this bold statement.
Okay, very quickly.
We also need to listen to her once. Let me reiterate that if she says that her life was in danger and she was under imminent attack, clearly her actions are justifiable.
Very well. That point has been made. Thank you so much. Very quickly, let me end with Mr. Bona. In such a situation, how do you expect one to conduct oneself?
Well, this situation shouldn't have happened. this situation shouldn't have happened, and probably I would have to correct or probably seek for clarification from my other colleague on the other side. He said he doesn't agree to some of the violence. Is that to suggest you agree to some, but you don't agree to some?
No.
Maybe.
Yes. I said that I don't agree in principle to any violence associated with the registration process. I said it. I'm not saying
if you don't agree in principle, it means you agree to something called violence. Mine is that the president has reiterated, and it is enshrined in our constitution, that we've got to be law-abiding. The Minister of State did indicate that the people following her, she was very categorical. I am not the one quoting or misquoting her. She said, the police, they have contradicted her.
Right.